Hi, greetings and welcome to the Medium channel where we bring you the spirituality behind the message to assist you in the awakening process. So today we're going to talk about the full moon that's coming this Tuesday on the 14th, and the six things that I feel working with spirit and looking at the astrology and numerology, important key elements that will be helpful for you that we need to know. So I'll just start in a couple of minutes. I always give the live people a minute or two to get their notifications and to get on before I begin. So I'll say a few quick hellos. This won't take long, so we'll make this a short one tonight, and that's it. So for who's here, hi Michael and Susan and Angel and Teresa. I think that's Manic Mama's name. Yeah, there's only four people. Of course, then again, I didn't post this all over Facebook and Instagram. Most people are going to see this as a video, but in any event, that's that's the reason I want to give the live people a minute or two to get on. For some reason, there seems to be a delay in YouTube sending the notification, the people that picking them up and getting on here live. So nice to see everybody. It's a beautiful day here in the Catskills. I wanted to give you guys this view, and I see that I'm kind of like a silhouette, even though I have my ring light. So you can see my ring light in my glasses. So I have my ring light like right up against my face, and I'm still like dark. Well, I'm very tan, you see. And anyways, all right. So hi, Janae. Welcome. All right. Gonna have a little bit of water, then we're gonna jump in. Like I said, this is gonna really hit more as a video later on than as a live event, anyways. And that's the way it is. And we just went up to 10 people. Yay! All right. So, full moon is at 23 degrees Sagittarius. A full moon is a sun moon opposition. So the sun will be at 23 degrees Gemini. And that's happening on the 14th. I think it's the 14th. God, I hope I have the right day. I'm pretty sure it's the 14th. Now I want to look at my ephemeris. But I believe it's Tuesday the 14th, 7:52 a.m. here on the East Coast in Eastern Time. And tomorrow is actually the 11th day of the moon. So what happens on the 11th day of the moon, and that's roughly when the moon and the sun come into a trine also, astrologically. And what happens is that our bodies, our systems, our energy field starts to prepare for the energies of the full moon. So it's a transitional time. This is according to my yoga tradition that I study, and it's said that it's best to eat light on the 11th day of the moon. Do your yoga, do a lot of breathing, do a lot of meditation. Try to stay as calm as possible. So try to stay out of like emotional drama as much as you can tomorrow. There's plenty of that around. There's plenty of that to go around. So the idea is to honor that. And then we're kind of in that full moon energy right through the full moon and lasting about 3 or 4 days after the full moon. So we're in that. Now, it's a super moon, and basically all that means is that the moon is close to the earth. In fact, this full moon is going to be, I believe, 9 hours off its perigee, or the point in the lunar orbit where it's the closest to the earth. So basically the moon is pretty much as close as it possibly can be to the earth right on the full moon, and that has a big bearing on the gravitational pull. There's a much stronger pull gravitationally. I mean, it's always strong in the new and full moons because the sun and moon kind of gang up and intense the gravitational pull. And when there's a gravitational pull, that means there's an energetic pull also. So the energy of this full moon is stronger, but also the effect that it has on the geology and on the earth, because it's kind of pulling, more than most full moons do, is also part of it and part of this energy. Well, anyway, hi, give me a month, but you have to come visit. I will have to come visit your new temple, Pandora. Thank you. even if I have to go to Australia to do it. um, but in any event, very good. So here's the 6 things. So number one is to watch your thoughts and emotions. What we feel and what we think is energy, and energy affects reality because reality is energy. It's through our human perceptions or perceptibility, through like our vision, our hearing, or whatever, that we create these images of things being solid, but nothing's solid. Everything's different bandwidths of energy. And what makes things appear solid is just the magnetic attraction that the different atoms have in solid objects, but they're 99.99% empty space. So as the full moon intensifies, and we're at a supermoon, so it's the strong a full moon as you can really get, your thoughts and your emotions intensify also. So watch your thoughts around this time, especially when we get to the full moon, but the energies are already starting to become active. Like I said, 9 degrees off its perigee. Also, Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune will be T-squaring actually the new moon the full moon and the sun. So Pisces is Neptune ruled. Neptune's very emotional energy. It's connected to illusions, delusions. It's also connected to spirituality, belief, and higher frequencies. Also, Mars and Jupiter started June conjunct. They'll be off its conjunction by time that comes in, but that's also in Aries. And Aries energy is very intense, very fiery. Mars is very energetic, very fiery. Jupiter expands, so it expands on that energy. So your thoughts and your emotions are going to carry more weight than they normally would. And our thoughts and emotions are powerful anyways. Again, I don't want to get too deep into the specifics on that, but through different experiments, through working with your quantum theory and stuff like that, it's basically known that our thoughts and emotions affect, because it's energy affects the energy, including solid matter, and it can be somewhat measured. I don't know if measured is the right word, but looked into or looked at a little bit through the subatomic particles. That's what the quantum is. And every time the electrons change their rate of orbit, it goes into a new quantum or a new level. So anyway, point being is that it affects subatomic reality, which affects reality, period. So that's it. So that's number one. Watch your thoughts and emotions. And did I include law of attraction work on my notes? I want to see if that's like a separate, it's not. So I'll talk about this in point number one also. Great that I have notes, right? Okay. Um, and anyhow, that means that this full moon is going to be really, really good for the doing law of attraction work. And there's a lot of favorable aspects that come up with this full moon. Like, it's not all doom and gloom this time. I mean, it never is. This is transformation. This is evolution. We live in a world that has outdated, unsustainable, and unfair systems in place that benefit a very tiny select few at the expense of a great many. It's not sustainable. We're awakening as a human species. All this stuff has to fall. These markers like the full moons, like the eclipses, and we're still in the energy of the last series of eclipses, by the way, also. That's still very much alive and well and affecting things. So it's a really good time to do your law of attraction work. If you don't know how to do that, check out some of the videos. I have a playlist with close to 30 videos on it about law of attraction work. Check that out. So that's number one. Number two is expect more upticks in natural disasters. I feel like I could tape loop this part because it comes up on every live stream about full moons or about the month or whatever. That's the reality we live in. But you add a very powerful supermoon to that's pulling the earth more, increasing the gravitational pull. Things that are a little bit unstable are more likely to slip. That can lead to earthquakes, volcanoes. Also, there's going to be a lot of problem with heat. We're already seeing that. I think we're going to see that, in June and July. And I want to say the West Coast, people on the West Coast, that could be also South America, be on guard. If there's anything that comes up in the seismic forecast, take it seriously and prepare. I want to say also, I'm getting a hit like off of Portugal, I want to say, or maybe off Morocco, but watch Western Europe too, especially in the ocean, I want to say. And then China into India and Tibet, India, China, and that area is on an axis that can very well be activated by this. Um, so just beware more natural disasters. Beware of some upticks. Also, what's called the world axis point, which is the 0 degrees of the cardinal signs, like we're coming up to 0 degrees Cancer on the 21st when summer begins. That's why they're called cardinal signs. They lead the seasons. So Libra is the next cardinal sign that leads the autumn season. So the world axis is being heavily affected by the aspects. So expect a lot of government changes to continue, economic changes. There's a lot going on in the sign Taurus, which is financial, and there's a lot going on in Capricorn, and all those planets are still affected. We're still in the USA Pluto return. That 26 degrees point is still being accessed, which can be very, very volatile and changeable, especially when it comes to society and money and stuff like that. So we say this a lot, but be aware of things with changes in governments, all that kind of stuff. I'm just checking my note. So that point we did. So I don't have to repeat that. Okay. I'm sorry. I've kind of been really busy, so most of what I have to say got transcribed into notes today. And also after this full moon, because the energy hits, but then the effects tend to. I mean, some of it that it's immediate, some of it happens later on, but the effects of it tend to linger on. So, one or two world leaders may may be stepping down or forced to step down June and July. We talked about already. So the third thing to know is that everything you do will have a greater impact on people and events outside of yourself. So you're going to be in a high power point. Now, my suggestion also is as you look at the full moon and maybe even look at the astrology of that, see how that affects you. Like see where the 23 degree point of the mutable signs, as well as the fire signs hits, and we have Sharita Star, our astrologer and numerologist, that can do a personal forecast and reading for you. But how this affects your personal chart and your personal numerology, we'll fine tune how these general effects that are affecting everybody will affect you specifically. So, but your power's increasing, and the moon is also very reflective energy. So there's a lot of spiritual information that's coming. And 23 degrees of Sag is actually very fortuitous, and 23 numerology tends to bring acclaims and positive notice, sometimes even fame, and it tends to bring out more integrity in yourself. And then Sagittarius is very big on expansion. So there's a lot of good fortune available at this time right now. So that's very favorable. Mercury is going to be transiting into Gemini, like I think the very next day. And it'll favorably aspect Jupiter, that's in early degrees, Aries, or in the earlier degrees of Aries, so they sextile. So this is again excellent time for manifestation. You may have some really good luck coming up also. So but the thing to know is that your energy has a greater impact. Use your energy wisely. Careful with your words. Try to be the observer of your thoughts and emotions rather than blindly reacting. We say that a lot here on the channel. And that way your higher influence on others will be of a positive order. So your healing abilities can also increase under that influence. So that's number 3. Right. Number 3. So number 4 on the list, yeah, I wrote down separation, duality, more people leaving your life, a lot of deceptions becoming uncovered, partly of the influence of this full moon also. Um, more things are likely to come into clarity. So you have to know what side you're on with the coming split with society. I've said this in other live streams. I say it a lot on Tarot Time, which is every Sunday if you're new at 11 Eastern Time. If you ever want to check that out. There's a lot of Gemini energy. I mean, the sun's in Gemini, Jupiter. God, I'm confusing things, but Mercury's just moved into Gemini, and something else is. I should probably have like an ephemeris in front of me when I do this also, because I can't keep all these things in my head. And then fairly soon, later in the or more towards the autumn, Mars is going to hit Gemini, and then it's going to stay there for 7 months. So the thing is, we're awakening. People are getting more triggered. The old rules that started in 2020, stay in your own lane, stay in the eye of the storm, and all that applies, and it's even more important right now. So people may get more crazy. There may be more pressure on the duality, like taking sides. I think we're going to hear more about presidential elections. I think that there may be some inkling of a coming civil war. Even I think it can get, in the US, that is, I think it can get that crazy and that intense. But because we have Neptune T-squaring this, a lot of deceptions and illusions can get uncovered. So things may start to finally come out more in the news. We've been kind of teetering on that for a while. Is Saturn also retrograding, starting at 25 degrees Aquarius. Aquarius is a very big sign for things like revolution and free thinking and sudden change and stuff like that. 25 is a very powerful and a challenging aspect of the number 7, which really forces us to really do our work and really to do the soul work and the spiritual work that's necessary. So I think these aspects are really telling us to do our spiritual work, stay in our heart. That's the eye of the storm. That's the center of our power. That's the center of the universe. And be aware, be informed, understand what's going on with things like technology. I think we're already seeing this, but later in the summer into the autumn, I think a lot is going to get rolled out on the technology. Part of it may be enhancement of the metaverse. Some countries are already implanting, revelations like the mark of the beast on the forehand, is it, or back of the hand, or the wrist and the forehead. A lot of this stuff is coming up. So there's different schools of thought. Mainstream society is going to go more into the technology aspects, but it's at least for where I'm sitting, it's going to be centralized, which isn't a good thing. Understanding who's behind the centralization of these powers that are going to control the world, basically. And then there's those that really want to stay in their more sovereign spiritual state and be free, not to be hooked up to the machine, so to speak, but to be clear of that, to connect more with nature, more with spirit, more than God, or something like that. So know where you stand is part of that. So where am I? Yeah, that's number 4. I wrote a lot for number 4. Oh my goodness. But I said it all already. Oh, okay. Yeah, the full moon is also about intuition. So trust your intuition, and the full moon will be very strong, and and everything like that. So that's another aspect of that. So number 5, this was originally going to be 5 things you need to know, but it went up to 6 things you need to know. So I have 6. So 5, violence increases. A lot of that Mars energy in Aries with Jupiter. Jupiter expands, so Jupiter's expanding on that. But we can't necessarily help what happens on a global level. And yes, we can project love into the collective, and we do this on the Medium channel in our channelings and our transmissions. In fact, we did that yesterday, and the energy is still active forever. So you can go back and do that and be part of that energy if you want. But getting to the point here is that on a personal level, you may find more confrontations, more of that energy affecting you on a personal level also, like in your family and in your life. So one of the things I didn't write down, but that's kind of part of this, so we'll call this 5B or whatever, is that a lot of breakups are happening now. People that you may have been aligned to one time, but you're not anymore. Maybe you're having some awakenings or some understanding and the other person isn't. For whatever reason, there's going to be a lot of separation of friendships, a lot of separations of relationships and stuff like that. But with that will come new friends and new relationships and people that are more aligned to your thinking. So yeah, it's a little bit of a dualistic energy, and our work, my work, our work here is really about more like integration, not about creating more duality. Because when we're integrated and whole, we're happy, complete, and we're vibrating at a frequency closer to source. But the duality is being forced on us, and sometimes we do have to choose one side. And I think the side that's going to promote more spirituality and more, again, integration and unity is the way to go. But I think this whole technology thing is really, again, it's going to relate to more control and more of that kind of energy. So anyway, that's 5. And number 6 is urge for more spirituality. And the moon is about reflection. The moon reflects the sunlight. Uh, this is a super moon, so that's more reflection and higher reflection. That can be self-reflection. And the moon teaches us about the mirroring, that everything is a mirror. So whatever we put out into the universe is mirrored back to us in the myriad of relationships that we have with the world around us. That could be relationships with lovers, with family, with friends, with pets, with animals, with ideologies, with society, with everything. So if you take this, the sum of everything in your life, that sum of that is the energy that you're putting out into the world, and it's 95% subconscious. I think with this higher lunar energy, we start to get more in tune with our subconscious and start to realize that more, and start to realize that we kind of need to shift our energy, shift our own paradigm, and understand that that if we have patterns in our lives or we're not happy with certain elements of our lives, it can only be changed from within. Good luck trying to change the other person and all that stuff. So Neptune, again, squaring from Pisces brings more intuition, more spiritual pulling, and again with this supermoon. So anyway, I'm going to peek at your comments for a second. I have just a couple more things to say. I could care less about their talent. No implants for me. Medbed. Medbeds would be nice, yes. Of people that don't know, medbeds are a technology that's already available that has the potential to heal things and possibly even like regrow limbs or stuff like that. The thing is, all technology is patterned after the human being. That's the model of the computer to the human brain. We can learn how to regrow limbs. That's part of that's in our DNA. We're just not evolved for that yet. I mean, yes, the technology can be used for a positive way. People's lives can be saved. Medbed would definitely be nice. There's like this Lazarus thing. What's that called? There's a name for it, but they have they have the ability to bring back the dead and reanimator and all that stuff. Some kind of chamber. I forgot what it's called. I mean, so Jesus isn't the only one that can resurrect the dead. Technology can do that also. I mean, I guess it depends on how decomposed you are, but your soul or spirit can come back, just like we reincarnate to new bodies. We can come back to our same body once they learn how to resurrect the dead. So all that is not that far off, and a lot of this technology is available. So technology can be used in a really positive way, but not when it comes at the expense of our own spiritual development, our own development as a human being, as well as a soul and spirit. So these things can assist that or they can block it. You know, a good example is that before telephones, people, especially indigenous people, were communicating telepathically, and the telephones made people lazy. They don't have to develop their telepathy anymore. They can just pick up a phone and call somebody. They don't have to send telepathic messages. So, you know, we want the technology to work with it, not against our personal development. And that's the key. And I think at the onset it works against, but as humans evolve and develop, that same technology can be used as a very positive thing. So a couple of practices I wanted to talk about. Work more with the heart. Oh, firstly, I talked about eating light for the 11th day of the moon. Okay, and all that stuff. Take care of the body. A lot of this is on my June psychic predictions also. Heart brain coherence is a wonderful exercise. There's many ways to work with the frequency of the heart. You can just meditate, imagine that you're breathing in and out of the heart, feeling the heart expanding and feeling compassion and gratitude expanding in your heart. And I have several videos on different ways of doing heart brain coherence, which when you expand the frequencies of gratitude, appreciation, and love in the heart, it becomes coherent. So it becomes of a coherent frequency. When we're in fear, distrust, and all these other emotions, our heart frequency is incoherent, and that weakens the connection to the brain, and it makes the brain incoherent also. So we bring the heart into coherence, and the brain waves patterns become coherent, and then we connect with spirit because our heart, our brain, and source all vibrate in the same frequency. So through gratitude, we tap into that master frequency because we're grateful for when we receive and the universe gives. So we become a match to that. So heart brain coherence and related practices, random acts of kindness, you also raise the frequency of the heart. So there's a lot of ways to do it. Um, Double down on spiritual practices, take care of your bodies, do water cleansing. This is I think this full moon and also next full moon, which is also going to be a super moon, I believe, but it's in the water sign of Cancer. So I think the doing water cleansings, like cleansing baths, going to the salt water, doing cleansings, working with the element of water, and all that stuff. So to sum up, it's a powerful month, but there's a lot of positive energy. There can be a lot of breakthroughs around the energies of this full moon. And um, the trick is, again, to stay in your power, to understand there's a lot of programming. When you can really be in your heart and the frequencies of the heart, you start to become immune to outside subconscious programming. And even more so, you start to become aware of the nature of the programming from childhood, the programming from society. I mean, programming in and of itself is not a bad thing. That's just how the subconscious works and it operates. It's like downloading programs like into your computer. Like I said earlier, the computers are fashioned after the human brain. So our egos or our conscious mind can be the programmers, and then the programs, are basically what you download onto your computers, onto your mental hard drives. So this is what I have for you today. So have a really wonderful full moon. Tomorrow we have an upload about if you're a star seed or an empath or a light worker or just a general spiritual person looking to make a difference in your own life and in the world. I have a video especially for you coming out tomorrow at 7, and then Sunday tarot time. Then on Tuesday, Heather Istara is going to do a healing transmission, and I'm going to do my archangel transmission and working with the master teachers. That I believe will be 7 p.m. on Tuesday on the full moon. So that'll be our full moon transmission. So that's what I have. So I think I actually went a few minutes longer than I thought I would, like usual. But we're going to end now. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, thank you. I forgot your name. Wild Style Vlogs. Although I think you have several names. Norma seems to come to mind. Thanks for being here. So we have a lot of people from Australia or New Zealand here today, which is awesome. So thank you for being here. Always, yes, yes. Thank you. All right, we're ending now. Anything you missed, watch this as a video, and I love you. I thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this beautiful community that we have. I appreciate